Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Deepika, and I share vlogs about my spiritual practices. I share tools for spiritual practice, and I also share my own experiences, my career journey, which could be of any help to young people, other young people. So, quickly coming to today's video. Today's video is about why young people are moonlighting, what is it that we are looking for in our life, as well as, uh, yeah, trying to just understand that. And as managers, if we are working with young people, what is it that young people are looking at, right? So in one of my previous videos, I spoke about choice as one of the biggest gift, but the choice is also based on a fundamental human need, and which is that the need to have freedom, right? Nobody wants, no human would want that we are controlled, and that control leads to contraction of our being. And you would have seen that when something happens where we are being told that this is exactly how this is to be done, does it expand our being or does it contract our being? And if you are really conscious about what's happening to you when you are in your professional space, you would be able to see what is contracting you and what is expanding you, right? And coming to what is causing more and more young people to have a shorter duration in organizations, or this whole thing around moonlighting which is happening. And there are many ways in which one could approach that. One very simple thing is that, okay, there is this whole concept of knowledge, and knowledge being a propriety of someone who's created it, not being shared with others, and more competitive markets leading to that, right? And therefore, not wanting employees to work in more than one space, because your knowledge, what you have created, gets shared with others. One can question that whatever these organizations are building, is it something purely theirs, or they have also built on some previous researches and work that has been done? There is more and more need in today's time. People are patenting even their researches, their social science work as well, right? So, where is this need coming from in our society? And the second thing that we look at, why young people are doing this, just let's look at the kind of separation that has been created right from the time we were an agrarian society to the kind of society we are today. The more complex our society has become, we have created separate spaces. There is a space to go and work, there is a space for family. And it's not like earlier where, families would be together and doing some farm based activity or a vocation, uh, where the child is also learning. Each different family member would have different role to play. But more and more we are looking at specialization and separation of personal and professional space, or say work and family space. That's what's happening now. What is it creating? What is this separation creating? And if we see that COVID and the lockdown, while it was quite painful, what it has resulted in is us having tasted that even this complex world and professional space we are in, there is a way for us to work professionally without being in the separate offices where we used to go every single day for 10 to 12 hours. There is a way that people can still perform, do those roles, and not necessarily be separated from their families. This is something that we experienced during the time of COVID. And I still remember in one of the discussions that I was having with some young people about coming back to office. And one of the young persons said that, do we really even have a need to do that? Because this whole thing has been ruptured, the kind of connect that we used to have. Do we even want to build it again? Have you asked us that? And that to me was a very important insight that a young person shared. that what are they valuing now, right? And are they valuing their own space, pace of working, or are they valuing something else? So that's another bit. The third bit around separation, and now young people being able to see that that separation is not necessary. There is another way of being which is possible. And it's not that it's just in the imagination, it is something that's happening that they've tasted, and it's not very much in the past, it's in the recent past during the time of pandemic, right? Now, coming to the third thing around this whole whose knowledge it is and why it should not be shared with others. It's very interesting to take that point of view, but if we also look at what is it that team members are seeking, and if what has the separation and specialization and professionalization also done? How much fun are people having in doing what they are doing? Can meetings be more fun? Can people smile more frequently with when what they are when what they do, uh, they if they are enjoying? Can people be more relaxed in their meetings? Can there be a way um, for people to have more fun and more joy and more ease in doing what they are doing? Or is this complexity also complicating life? Because complex does not have to necessarily be complicated. So that's the second, third bit, in fact. And the fourth bit, that's more for managers. Uh, and especially just not managers, all these so-called experts and CEOs who are making big statements around what young people should be doing or what they should not be doing. This is something for them to reflect on, that gone are the times. A generation back, like the generation where my parents worked, we really scratched up for money and they had to put together everything, like, and we were just moving into a lower middle class, and from lower middle class to an upper middle class. There was no buffer available, so they went ahead and they were loyal to their industries for 25, 30, 40 years, for a number of years, whatever number of years they worked. Never thought of resigning, worked in shifts, worked in odd hours, worked with the most hazardous conditions, right? And now, if you look at this generation, which is there, which is coming from the middle class, this generation has a buffer. They know that, or we know that we can resign and we can be at home for a few days, few months, and we can figure out what we want to do. We want to take break. I've had colleagues who will say that, oh, I want to sleep late today, and not join for this, and that's totally respectable. So it's not a generation which was struggling and which did not have any means to sustain if they were out of jobs. This is a generation which, especially in the professional space which is coming, is a generation which has some buffer, which has some family resources to rely on for them to be able to make those decisions. Uh, Also, that this generation is far more risk taking. The kind of exposure we have is much more than what, say, the previous generation had. But at the same time, there are many questions also for to be answered. That is it only about knowledge not being shared with others, and therefore moonlighting being a huge issue? Or would they also make a issue if young people were going back home and, say, providing gardening services to somebody, tiffin services to somebody, or, say, care services to somebody? Because that's what most of the women are in any case doing, but they're not paid for it. The moment there is a payment attached to your role and service that you provide, there are all these questions that the society begins to ask, and especially people in power begin to ask. So it's a time to think and understand that what is being questioned. It's not the work being questioned, it's being paid for that work that starts getting questioned. And it is something that maybe young people are definitely sending us very strong signal One, we want to have fun. That's one. Second is they definitely want to do more with their life apart from working for your organization. They want to work for other organizations. They want to make some extra bucks to do what they want to do. And maybe the amount of creativity or the joy that they could derive from their role possibly is not there, and therefore they are looking for other avenues. While some may term it as greed, the others may also term it as trying to find what is making sense to them, where would they want to be. Uh, yeah, so these are few things that young people are trying to do in their life, and it's time for those in position of power to understand what young people are wanting. Uh, More joy, more fun, more creative endeavors. And yes, they want more abundance and money as well. And therefore, they're looking out for all these things around. They're asking pertinent questions, not just by articulating these as questions, but young people today are asking questions through their actions. And it is up to people in power to understand that instead of coming up with statements and saying that you have to be in office for X number of days, X number of hours, or this is what is expected of you, or this kind of behavior is not allowed, but really go to the crux of it, that why and what are they trying to communicate to you, and what is it that they want to have in their life more. Thank you.